got it. Episode 5. Got the usual crew here, plus the one and only Mathew Fraser. What's your middle name?
Welcome.
Edward.
Edward.
Yeah, real official.
I like that. Oh, and Mathew with 1 T.
Yeah, get it right.
How hard was that as a child?
I think by the 3rd grade, I stopped caring.
Yeah.
Like, you know when you're real little and you're like, actually, it's 1 T?
Yeah.
And then by 4th grade,
You're like, nah, I don't care
I'm
anymore.
wasting so much time doing this. People know who they're talking about.
Yes. I don't care. I give up. Cool. Well, appreciate you having, appreciate you coming on the show. And now official resident of Cookeville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
How's that feel?
It's good. You know, we're finally getting settled in. You know, it's more back on the regular schedule instead of having like a mile to-do list.
Yep.
I'm able to focus on the stuff I want to focus on instead of finding the table, finding the couch, getting utilities. Like,
How long did it take for you to say before the neighbors started peeking their head around the corner when they saw all the road boxes?
Day one. Yeah. The kid next door is a CrossFitter.
Mm-hmm.
First day we pulled up to the house and like garage doors open. There's a set of parallettes and a kettlebell, and I was like, all right, this should be good.
No,
Sure
tell him
enough.
about what he did after that.
Oh yeah, I mean he just works out of his garage, and there's like 6 rogue pallets. I mean, it looked like an affiliate was opening up. I'm getting some like peeks, and he and his girlfriend are doing a workout out of the garage.
It's awesome. It's like Christmas for him.
He
Man.
still doesn't come over and introduce himself.
Hey,
so.
Matt, I don't know if you know, but I'm doing some CrossFit over here. Have you ever heard of it?
Hey, Matt, could I borrow a wall ball?
Every other neighbor has come over and like said hello.
Oh, nice.
But he hasn't yet.
He hasn't
What the hell, man?
Yeah.
He's
Hey,
young.
if you're listening to this, I'm talking.
Come on over.
Come on over.
Matt said come over, work out.
Bring a casserole.
My garage is your garage.
Welcome gift.
And so now you got Dad helping you with stuff. It's nice having somebody that just does anything and can do anything.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. You know, it was like I got a sauna hooked up, and I was like, I'll get all the wiring in place, but I've never wired 240 before, so I was like,
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I might.
No, that's how you die.
Yeah, regular electrical. I'll YouTube anything, figure it out. But 240, I was like,
What's 240? What's that?
So it's basically 2 power lines, so it's
Oh.
like double the shock if you get hit.
It's not good.
Extra fire.
Not
Okay.
My main concern was like I didn't want to fry the heater in the sauna.
Yeah, that would.
And so it was like 7 p.m. when he finally got over. So the 2 of us, it got a little awkward. 2 of us are in this tiny 2-person sauna, wiring the heater. And right before we got in, your dad was like, well, this is about to be awkward. Yep.
Didn't you guys crawl into the house together too? Well, I missed that story, but I heard you saying something about being under the crawl space.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He was crawling.
Yeah, when I was first looking at getting a sauna, I was like, well, I think there's a 240 line already at that end of the house. So he handed me a flashlight, and I was like, okay, I'll crawl under and check. And then, like, I'm like 10 feet in, and I hear some, like, wrinkling behind me. I was like, oh, man, you're in this with me. All right.
He'll pretty much do anything.
Yeah.
Anything and everything.
So why a sauna?
I just like saunas,
Yeah.
you know. It was just, like, part of my habit, you know, probably 4 or 5 times a week. And it was at one health and fitness club that I, like, ran and swam at. And it would just be, like, after a swim workout, I would go sit in the sauna. And then when I moved here, I was like, oh, you know, I can get one. And
Might as well.
And there's one right down the road, like.
Is it a structure, or does it go like?
I
how do you install
got
it?
a barrel sauna, so it's an outdoor and it looks like a barrel on its side.
wow.
So it's outside your house,
Yeah.
and you just go and like lay in this tube.
No, it's like I can barely stand up in it in the center, and then it says it's a 4-person, but like
2.
it's a
But-
2-person.
2-person. You don't
Wow.
have 4 sweaty dudes.
Yeah.
Nah,
So it's literally just like
I'm good.
It
That's
looks.
cool.
It's a 6-foot barrel sauna that's just sitting in my backyard.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So I was in that bad boy last night. It is.
Is it really
nice.
hot?
Yeah. It's a
That's pretty
small
awesome.
space, so it heats up quickly.
Wow.
That's actually pretty cool. Jim, you were going to tell us about your very special
I didn't-
flatulent dog. Sorry, it was my inquiry.
That wasn't something that I set out
No,
to try to
this
talk
was
about.
Elly, but hey, you know, it
Look,
happens.
we got this poor little dog from a kennel way back in the day, and my wife loves this little dog, and I love my wife, and that's how that all works. And we can't have people over because when he falls asleep, it is rank.
The whole time.
You think any kind of smell you can think of that's bad, and his name's Spanky, and he's a sweet little dog. He's only good for loving, but he reeks.
That bad.
So that's the story, and I don't know.
But he was saying that when Spanky's relaxed because he just starts.
Well, you know when he fell asleep. You don't have to look over underneath the coffee table and
Smell
see.
it.
You just smell it.
That's how my lab is.
I mean, that's nice of him. He waits until like he's trying to hold it in.
Yeah.
You're right. He is. That's a
The whole day.
considerate spanky.
Stomach hurts, you know.
The whole day.
Lay off me. Sorry.
It's like having that first date. The first date, you're like, oh, I can't. Or actually, for the first probably year that you date someone, you're like, I gotta hold it in.
Oh,
By the time you get in
man.
the car after it, stomach hurts. It's the worst.
That barrier got broken real early.
I was
on
gonna
for
say,
me.
did you all wait a year? Is that like standard for dudes or what?
No.
It was.
See, that's different at my house though, because
you're-
I'm like not down with that. I don't want to.
Yeah, no, I don't either. But
Like
I'm just saying, like, now I don't go out of my way to not.
Right.
You know, I'm married. But when we dated, it was like, I'm going to hold this one. Because I just don't know how it's going to go. You know, you don't know how the first one, until the first one happens, you don't know how it's going to go.
I forgot something in my car.
Yeah,
I'll be right back.
I'll be right back. And your stomach just hurts so bad.
Wow. I mean, thank you, guys. I didn't know you
She's now
sacrificed
realizing
that
why
much.
her husband went out to the car so often.
I just never
What's
got
out in that car?
I mean, take a walk. It's fine.
Yep. I gotta go to the bathroom. You went to the bathroom like, yeah, I gotta pee. I drank a lot of water.
Oh.
The stories.
Well, so speaking of stories, the last time, well, it was a couple times ago, you were in Cookeville, and someone said, did you know Matt's parents were Olympic figure skaters? And I was like, nah, that's not real. Like, no way. And then I went in and I said, you know, sure enough, and you showed me a video. I mean, did you ever figure skate? Did they tell you stories about figure skating? I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, you know, definitely heard all the stories of my parents. You know, when they first met and they kind of went through the junior ranks, and then they went to the Olympics pretty early on in their career, and then that was back in the day when you couldn't be pro. You had to stay amateur, so then they went pro after, and they went on like pro tours and stuff like that. So heard all those stories and always looked up to them, you know. It was just they had life experiences that most people don't have.
Absolutely.
And I've always said, you know, when I was a little kid and hearing those stories, I wanted to find my way to make those stories. And so then when CrossFit started, like, it was a couple years ago, I had the realization, like, oh, wow, it's happening.
That could be your story.
But then my dad was a figure skating coach for a long time. My mom, as soon as she was done figure skating, went to medical school, and that was the end of that. But my dad...
So your mom's a doctor?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
But my dad coached for a long time, and then I remember it was like probably second or third grade. A girl in my class that we were friends with, her mom mentioned something like, oh, I'm thinking of trying her in figure skating, see if she likes it. And my dad was kind of like, I'm actually a figure skating coach if you want me to give them a try. And it was still at the age where it's like, you didn't want to hold a girl's hand or like anything like that. So we went to the rink and we tried it, and they had to just like skate in circles, like holding hands.
Oh, you're like, yeah, this is sweet.
And I remember like we left, and my dad, we got back in the car, and he was like, so what'd you think? I was like, no, didn't like it.
Not doing
She
it.
said the same thing to her mom, and that was literally the end of it.
Wow.
Like my parents were just like, nope, like you don't like it. I think they were half relieved because it's like, it's a lot of time and a lot of money in figure skating.
Oh, for sure. Did they ever get injured in the process of competing?
I know my mom dislocated her shoulder, and I think my dad. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, my mom had some serious injuries. I want to say my dad broke a rib one time by accident. Like they were in a spin, and my dad's arms kind of came in too much and cracked the rib. But then the first show that they ever did together. So my mom wasn't allowed to skate pairs. She was a singles figure skater. Her parents wouldn't let her. They finally convinced her parents to let her go pair. First competition. In the warm-up, they did a platter lift. So it's the woman is above the man, facing forward.
Jeez.
And it's just like a simple lift, like on the hips, up. And my dad caught a toe pick. And
Oh, gosh.
And so my mom belly flopped onto ice from like 7 feet up. And yeah, she broke her hip.
And she still picked him to work with?
Wow.
That must be true love right there.
So for the first show, my dad said he was like, we were in the ambulance leaving, and he saw out the ambulance window her parents pulling into the arena. And was like, this is awkward. Like she wasn't allowed to do this because it was too dangerous. They finally convinced her.
Enough.
And yeah, broke her pelvis first skate.
There's a major aspect of like being a performer though too in figure skating. Did they ever try to get you into anything like more drama based or musical or anything like that?
No, so they are nothing along those lines. You know, my brother went the music and drama route, and then I just like sports. Yeah, my dad never really fit the figure skating mold. He just kind of, I think he did it I think it probably started for the girls. And then
Yeah.
he just was like, oh, I'm kind of good at this.
Well, you have to be really strong, I'd say, to probably hurdle girls through the air as
Yeah.
well. So there's a lot of athleticism.
Yeah,
there.
he was definitely didn't fit the stereotypical mold for a figure skater of like kind of artsy and kind of flows.
Yeah. What did they think of CrossFit when you were like, hey, getting started and interested? What was?
Well, you got into
So I did
Olympic
yeah.
lifting first, right?
Yeah, so I did Olympic weightlifting. And my dad, he never coached me or anything like that, but he was heavily involved just because the gym I trained at was like the next town over, and I started when I was 12. So he had to drive me every day after school. And then it was too far away to like go home for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then come back. And so he would literally sit there. He sat
Wow.
there for like 7 years, 2 hours every day.
Wow.
And just watched me train, you know, like, and so he was heavily invested, loved watching me.
Did he learn a lot about Olympic lifting through watching that many hours?
Oh, I'm sure he could coach,
Yeah.
like just from the amount that he's watched.
Yeah.
You know?
Did he ever do it?
No,
No?
never.
Just
No, he just did figure skating all the way through.
Oh.
Yeah, so he just got into it from being there every single day watching me. Yeah, so then, you know, kind of weightlifting in my life kind of fizzled out and started CrossFit just by mistake, more or less. But I remember the first competition I did, and the prize was $500. And weightlifting, there is no prize money, like unless you're like at the top
Yeah.
level, which I was not. And yeah, I got an envelope with $500, and my dad was just like, "Wow."
Yeah, this is
My
it.
dad was like, "Man, you made it, kid. Good
That's
for you."
really cool.
But they've seen it. They've seen the work I've put in. They see the community and kind of the opportunities that I've gotten from it. You know, like every other month they see Sammy and I packing up our bags to go to some other corner of the world, and
That's awesome.
and so they're definitely happy for me. Love what it's done. You know, and kind of in disbelief, I think, more than anything, of seeing where it started and seeing how it progressed to where it is now. They're just like.
You were talking earlier about the life it's created for you, and it's something that you hadn't even thought or dreamed about.
Yeah.
And now you've got.
Well, yeah, I was talking earlier. You know, we're kind of in the phase like we have everything in the house, and so now it's just kind of decorating, like putting up picture frames and stuff like that. And so Sammy just went through our photo library and pretty much printed everything, and she's kind of hanging up like the cool pictures, and there's one picture where it's like 20 different 4x6 photos all in one. And she's just kind of hanging all the destinations, you know, the selfie in front of like the landmark.
That's cool.
And we're looking at it, I'm like, how did we end up here? Like, this wasn't supposed to be my life, you know? I was supposed to get a 9 to 5 as an engineer, and that was that. But then we're looking at like quadding in the desert and like in Brazil and Australia and all these incredible trips that have just kind of happened. And it's like, how else would this have happened, you know? It's just incredible thinking of where it started, of like my old gym owner at Champlain Valley CrossFit. He signed me up for my first competition because I didn't have $50.
Wow.
And it was, if you win this competition, you have to use the prize money to buy yourself a pair of CrossFit shoes.
Wow.
Because I was working out in like Air Max 90s with the bubble, you know, trying to squat 405 with the air bubble under you. So he was like, you know, I'll sign you up for the competition, and if you win, you have to buy a pair of shoes. To like traveling the world and seeing all these cool things, and it's just unreal, you know?
That's really
It's
cool.
cool.
Does that so I mean, what you just described was like an incredible amount of gratitude for what the sport has done for you. Is there anything that comes from that gratitude inside you that is something you want to do later on as part of your legacy? Like, how is that? That sounds pretty impactful. Like, is there anything you want to do in your life moving forward because of this experience, or just, you know, keep riding the wave?
You know, for right now, it's definitely just going to keep taking it as it comes. But, you know, like owning a gym or coaching, like that's probably not in my future. So so 5-10 years down the road, you know, it's like, once I'm done and gone from the sport, whenever that day comes, I want to be okay with finishing the sport. I don't want to try to hang on. And, you know, I saw that in weightlifting a lot, of people that just didn't have anything else to go to. So they just kept doing what they knew. And And, I look at like how my parents handled figure skating.
Mm-hmm.
When they were done with figure skating, they wanted to move on to the next phase of their life, and that was my mom getting a career as a doctor and starting a family and all that stuff. And so for me growing up, like hearing my parents talk about being Olympics, like that was a little blip on their radar.
Big life, yeah.
Yeah, like they moved on to different things, and so I hope that when my day comes in CrossFit, that's what I can do. And just kind of move on to the next phase.
So it's like a stepping stone for you.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Like, if you asked me 5 years ago where I was going to be today,
right,
I would have never told you this.
Yeah.
So in 5 years, I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just literally taking it one trip at a time, one day of training at a time, just kind of.
Yeah.
And just having fun where I can
Yeah.
and enjoying it.
What's your motivation? I mean, what gets you up, get you to the gym?
I mean, right now, I love training, and I knew that even as a weightlifter, it was like, I just loved working out. But with weightlifting, there's no retirement plan. There's no income from it. It's like the top lifters all have a career, and they try to fit in weightlifting time. So right now, it's literally just like, I'm making a living, and I get to just work out and
You love what you do?
and just do fun stuff like
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
It's a great job.
Yeah, it's not a bad gig.
Not
Yeah.
a bad
Yeah.
gig.
Absolutely.
Well, you've mentioned your parents a couple times now, and looking up to them growing up. Do you have any maybe 2 or 3 lessons, maybe one from your mom or your dad, that you use in your day-to-day life or come up every now and then?
I don't think there's any specific do this, don't do this. Both my parents were always make sure you have an education.
Mhm.
So I took my college education very seriously. I wanted to have so that when the sports career, if it ends early, like injury or something, I have something to fall back on. I'm not gonna have to fight for food type thing.
Yeah.
But it's just those. I don't think there's any specific lesson. It was just more the work ethic they put in, and kind of
Yeah, that's huge,
do
though.
things right the first time. It takes just as long to do something right as it does to do it wrong. So yeah, just kind of doing that, but yeah, I think that's about it. I can't really think of
No,
a
they're
specific.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense for sure.
Got a favorite moment from any of the past games?
Oh boy.
I know it's always a tough one.
Yeah.
I always say when it's done. It's over. It's always my favorite.
From this year's games, I mean, there's a couple specific workouts that I loved.
Yep.
Definitely the rope climb, ski erg, and overhead squat. I love that workout because that's a lot of what I do in training. It's with built-in rest, you know, and it's kind of one of those things. In training, it's okay, this is a great way to train, but at a certain point, you have to start phasing out that built-in rest and start going straight through because that's what they do in competition.
Right.
But the fact that they did that in
rest stayed
competition,
there, yeah.
it's okay,
Nice.
this just opened up a whole nother
Yeah.
field of
I get to
styles of
breathe
workouts.
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you get to push it a little bit harder than you would if that workout was straight through.
Right.
But I like that workout too because it was rope climbs. It's something that I've had a hard time with in the past, and so this year or last year in training, hammered rope climbs, and I felt like my legless rope climbs were strong after a failure in 15.
I get it.
Yeah. And so I did nothing but legless for an entire year.
Yep. Been there.
But then when it came back up in 16 at some point, I forget when,
Using your legs.
using my legs, and I was fumbling at getting the foot grip, and so I was like, okay, gotta
Maybe
take
I
a
should
step
do
back
both
to
of 'em,
basics.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went back and so on that workout, I was able to get up the rope. I felt like I was comparable to some of the guys that were much taller.
Right.
They're getting it in 2.5 pulls, and I'm sitting there 4 or 5 pulls later.
Yeah.
But I was keeping pace. They may have beat me in a round, I may have beat them, but it was comparable.
Right. We're just getting worked on a tall man's event.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think heavy 17.5. I like that
Oh, yeah.
one because that was that was a mental workout, you know, because they have all the bars laid out. And I remember specifically finishing the 3rd round of double unders, and I had no idea where I was in the workout, but I was like, all right, I must be a little bit over halfway. And then like I looked up, and it was just still this whole row of barbells, and I was like, oh my God, I'm not even close to halfway yet.
Right.
And it was like, all right, like just keep going. It's going to be over soon. And but able to hold on to that pace, and it was more of a mental fight for me than anything.
Right.
Getting through that. I'm trying to think of some of the other workouts.
I don't know. In the last 2 years, there's been some pretty. I mean, cyclocross was fun. We got to go up the track.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I didn't get to do it at the games, but the way we did cyclocross with the actual cyclocross bikes at Trek, which is basically a road bike with
it was
a road grip tire.
It was a road bike with a knobby tire.
It was a lot more intense.
It was.
That's awesome.
It was scary too.
So this was what 3 or 4 weeks ago.
About a month ago, yeah.
About 6 or 8, 10 of you guys got to
Yeah,
go up
me,
the track.
Matt,
Katrin, Ron Ortiz, and Haley.
and Hensel
Hensel,
all went up to track, and they took us around and basically just let us ride bikes. They the one afternoon they were like, we're gonna do a slideshow with an intro to mountain biking, and me and Matt were like, can we go ride some bikes?
Right. Actually do this.
We know how.
And so they were like, yeah, let's get you some bikes.
No,
so
correction. We did not know how.
We thought you knew how.
we knew how to mountain bike-ish. But the cyclocross, they actually got us on some cyclocross bikes and let us go out on the World Cup.
Well, so they
Oh,
they had the
cool.
World Cup, like, what was it, a week before or 2
A week
weeks
or
before?
two, something like that, yeah.
Wow.
And so we did one lap on it, and we skipped the
We
biggest.
skipped the hardest
we skipped
part.
the hardest part. And
Two of the hardest
What-
parts.
well, what
Apparently
is
there
the
was
hardest
Which is a
part?
hill or something?
there was like an
or-
Yeah.
off-camber hill coming down
it was
on the road on a road bike, and so you're kind of off axis or whatever, and then you had to come back up that hill running basically because
Yeah.
you couldn't ride it.
But so we finished it, and they were like, all right, that was about 8.5, 9 minutes.
Jeez.
And one lap, and I don't know about you, I was
gassed.
hurting.
Yeah.
And then we kind of were like, all right, well, like, how did that compare to the guys who just went? And they were like,
6 minutes.
they were like, they were doing 6-minute laps, and the race is an hour.
For an hour.
Wow. And the hill that you
That's,
didn't do.
And the hills that we
Yeah.
did, yeah.
Wow.
Like we were going, and the guy who was leading us through
Mm-hmm.
was like turning around and talking to us as we're going, and I was like, stop talking to me. Like I can't breathe right now.
I don't want to talk to you.
Like
What's the physique of a cyclocross athlete look like? I don't even know what to imagine because you're running, you're carrying, you're
I
doing
mean, your
all this
typical
stuff.
cycler, I think.
Yeah.
Or cyclist.
Big legs,
Cyclist.
long
Cyclist.
legs,
but
and big
small upper
quads.
body
Pretty
Yeah,
small upper
very
body.
small upper
Yeah.
body.
I mean, your
So they're
traditional
engines.
cyclist. Yeah.
with big legs.
Super aerobic fitness.
Yeah,
guys.
and then we went
Wow.
on some actual mountain biking trails,
How'd that go?
and there was one point where they were like, hey guys, when you get to the bottom of the hill, veer left and just stop.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then they hit like
They called them drops. They were jumps.
yeah, they were
So they were airborne.
and like there was like a train of like 3 of them that went through, and like they're all like doing like the tail whips and stuff. And I'm just sitting there
That's
like,
cool.
Nah.
nope,
Nah,
can't do
I'm
that.
good.
not today.
It was
Wow.
fun though. It was a good time. The trails they had were awesome.
Now, did you get a bike from that too?
Yeah, we got a is it FX8, something like that.
I know it's 8.
Something 8.
Yeah, some
It's a
mountain
pretty
bike
sweet
that
mountain
is.
bike.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool because it has the
drop
the
post.
yeah drop post, and so where your shifter is on your left hand, because you only have one small sprocket in the front. You actually don't have to shift the front sprocket. The shifter on the left is just a drop post, so you just sit on the seat and it drops all the way down. So when you're going down hills and doing whatever,
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
you can just kind of
yeah. So when you're pedaling uphill,
Oh wow.
you hit the button and the seat comes all the way up to your regular riding height,
Wow.
so you can sit while you pedal. But then as soon as you start going downhill, you just like hit the button and push down on the seat, and it basically puts the seat down to the frame.
Oh wow.
So then you have all that clearance to kind
So
of
you
move
can
your body,
move
That's awesome.
manipulate around
it's
the
awesome.
bike.
So
And-
based on your guys' experience there, do you think it's something you'll see more cyclocross and mountain biking and stuff in the
I
games
don't
or
know.
no?
I mean, that wasn't a CrossFit HQ trip. That was just a
Yeah,
no,
that
I
was
know. I
fun.
just mean like understanding the technology and the
Well,
fitness
so
associated.
the other part of it is that we went to Trek World headquarters. It was in Madison,
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
so it's like okay,
World headquarters.
Waterloo,
yeah.
which is 20 minutes outside, which is Madison.
Wow.
But yeah, they were just really curious of how can we start training some of our cyclists in CrossFit to benefit them, and how can we get CrossFitters to start training cycling to benefit them? So they just wanted to see, like, they had blocked out windows for all of us to go in and work out and just do our regular training
with what they were doing.
Yeah, and so I think they wanted to see some of what we were doing, and then they put us through some, like, basically like a spin class, but it was aggressive.
Yeah, it was aggressive. It's not fun. It's not fun. I think it would be a little bit more fun. We just didn't have any computers or anything, and so it was like, he's just like, pedal hard, and you're like, sure, bro. We'll pedal hard. I'm pedaling real hard right now.
Like it flies off the stand.
You're just like, I just don't know how hard I'm pedaling.
What I thought was really funny was the guy who was instructing the class. He's what was he? Iron Man. And he said, he was like, oh yeah, I watched the cyclecross event at the games. He goes, there was one guy, I think he finished second or third, but like, they were like, he was like, his cadence was so slow. He's like, he probably could have done a lot better.
Yeah.
I was like, that was me. That
was this guy.
Yeah. Which during the event, I felt like my cadence was fast, and then I watched the tape, and I was like, looks like I'm pedaling through molasses. Like,
why am I
downshift,
going
man.
so slow? Downshift.
Tomorrow actually starts the construction.
Yeah, we're going to start building some trails tomorrow, I think.
Of the trail on
It's
Pfeiffer
supposed to be
Mountain.
75 and nice, so work out a little bit and then build some mountain bike trails in the woods.
Getting ready to get
That
real
sounds
around here.
fabulous.
Oh yeah, our injury rate is about to go
Through the roof.
way high.
God, knock on wood.
Oh man, when we went mountain biking, like, I think during the cyclecross we both tipped a couple times, like trying to get up a hill and like you're clipped in.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm gonna fall over.
On the mountain biking, I went down hard several times.
Over
Like,
handlebars hard or no?
No, it like the trails are built so it's like a bank, and so you just ride it and like you're up on your side.
Jeez.
And it was like I was leaning on the inside handlebar instead of the outside, or something simple like that, and just like
Boom.
you just watch the tire just slide up the hill and just it's like you just kind of bounce and like play it off. Like,
I'm fine.
I had one. We were doing these drills where we were like weaving cones, and the lady that was trying to tell us what to do, she starts talking to me, so I'm following her, and then all of a sudden I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like trying to stop, and I didn't take my feet out, and luckily we were on like really nice grass, and so I just like fell over on my back, and I was like,
It's so good. Well, so did you guys give them any insight as to, I mean, I think there's a huge hole in the endurance world right now, like running and biking, building their lactic threshold and stuff, because they've always just done so much volume. Did you give them any constructive criticism on, hey, you guys cycle all this, CrossFit would help you here? You said they asked. I mean, did any conversation actually happen from that,
I
or
talked
no?
a little bit to the one guys. I just think overall strength, core strength, and guys and girls that are on bikes all the time, you're just in one position all the time. So, I think if you can get outside that position and strengthen your body, it's going to help you. And then just that finishing kick. We went riding with a guy that he was really fit.
Oh, man.
Do we get to tell the
It was
whole
like-
story?
We can tell the whole story.
Tell the whole story.
So we had a guy.
Yes.
The guy that I did physical therapy with here, his name's Drew Randolph, and Jim actually used him too.
Yeah.
So he's we've known him for a little while, and I was talking about cycling. I don't know if I told you the story yet, Matt. Have we?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so we do this. There's like a 22, 23 mile loop that's my house, and the hills are aggressive on the back side. On the front side, it's kind of up and down, and it's Tennessee, so East Tennessee, so there's some hills. And
I've ridden bikes for over 2 decades. I don't want to admit that. It is the
Elly's-
hardest hill climb I've ever done.
Elly's fast on a bike. Yeah, 2 decades. Wow.
Okay, maybe not 2, but like
Elly's fast on a bike.
1.5.
So
Sorry.
anyway, so we get this, and he's like, yeah, you guys want to ride sometime? I was like, sure. Well, he got there a little late. I told Hillary I was going to come, and told Lakeland I was going to come watch gymnastics. So we're kind of like riding out of the driveway, and we can't really ride down my driveway because we always get a flat because it's gravel. So we're riding in the truck, and I'm like, I got about an hour, so maybe we'll go about 30 minutes out, 30 minutes back. So we get on the bikes, and Drew's like, I think we could make it. And I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like, the fastest I've ever done this loop is like an hour 24 or something like that.
I've never done it less than an hour 30.
And so we start going, and we're talking a little bit while we're riding. We're riding really hard, but
Hammering.
the little bit of talking, we're drafting a little bit, and kind of alternating who's in the front. And I'm kind of talking to him. And apparently the week before, he'd actually won what we call the haunted half marathon here with a 6:19 average mile pace, which
he's a well-trained machine.
He's pretty good at endurance stuff, and so we're hauling. And so there's always this point. It's probably 15 miles in. Once we get out, and then we start climbing back up the mountain.
Yeah.
And so there's like about a mile climb, and then it flattens out for 3 or 4 miles, and then another 3/4 of a mile to half mile climb.
Do you know the grade? I don't even know the grade, but it's
super
aggressive.
steep. And so it's starting to get a little. It's not dark until we get to the top, and it's starting to get a little dark. Anyway,
no.
And let me finish the story.
Then you can correct it.
And so we get up to the top, and I get back, Drew gets back, and we're kind of talking, and by this time it's dark. It's
40 degrees.
6 o'clock because gymnastics was at 6, and I'm freaking out. So it's like 6:10 probably at that point.
40 degrees, is that what you said?
It's not
and
40
raining.
degrees.
It's probably sleeting or
sprinkled.
snowing.
It's sprinkled maybe 3
degrees.
sprinkles.
There
the
are
entire time.
ominous black clouds covering any
Ominous.
shimmer of a moon
There was
or a
ghosts in
star.
the woods. It was right before Halloween. So there was werewolves,
jackals.
and jackal.
Yeah, there
and
was
so,
a jackal, a goblin.
And so we get back, and Drew's like, "I'll go get Elly." He's like, "I'll go check on her." I was like, "Great." I was like, "I would, but I really need to get to gymnastics." So we drive down my drive. My driveway is about a half mile long. I run in the house.
You really don't have
I
to.
change my shorts. Takes 10 seconds. I literally pulled my regular shorts over bike shorts. It's not that cold because I'm still wearing shorts.
Wasn't 40 degrees.
Hop back.
It was
cold.
Like
50.
I couldn't
it was
feel
dark.
my fingers.
It was dark, and there was like 52 degrees.
Frigid.
Maybe.
I had raptor claws.
Anyway,
I was like this.
So I come up the hill of my driveway and cut right as I'm coming through the woods, and all of a sudden I see Elly, and I'm like, wow, that was like, I was surprised. I was like, this is actually quicker than I thought she would be.
That's what happens when you pedal for your life.
And so as I'm getting closer, I see her face, and it's like full meltdown Elly, like bawling her eyes out, like boo-hoo, like sobbing. And I'm like,
I couldn't breathe.
I'm
I was
like,
crying so hard.
I'm like, she rode off the side of the mountain, like she broke something. So I'm like, as I'm passing by in my truck, I'm like, are you okay? Did you wreck? Like I'm looking at her bike. There's nothing. And she goes, no. And I was like, are you hurt? No. I said, it's because it's dark. And she goes, I was like, I'll see you tomorrow. And I just drove. And so she was.
But Drew went back and got her.
Drew went. Well,
Yeah.
she was on the driveway.
done.
Oh, you were on the driveway.
Yeah, so
There were flames coming out of the back of my bike down the mountain. I have never ridden so hard, ever.
He was going to go back and get her, but she was already there. She was
Right.
fine. And she
It's
was-
good because I got
It's a
better
great
that day.
story. You
I mean,
did.
I certainly, I mean, I'm ready to ride, like, because I think I might be able to fly by you. I trained so hard that day.
I don't know. We finished that loop in an hour 16. That was 8 minutes faster than I've ever finished that loop.
That's a lot.
That's a lot on a
Like-
road bike. And we've rode that loop quite a few times.
My heart rate, I was like looking at it like that in the first half of that ride was like so high.
Well,
And Drew rides by me and he, like, I'm trying to hide how much pain I'm in. So I'm like, he's like, you okay? And I was like, I smiled at you. Don't look at me. Like,
Leave
it
me
was
alone.
so bad.
But yeah, boo-hoo crying. Like full on, like ugly cry.
I'm so much ugly. Do
Yeah.
you have to use the U word?
The ugly cry. It gives you the full, like,
Ugly cry face.
yeah. Like it gives you the
Okay,
full
I mean,
idea of what it
truthfully,
is.
like, I think my eyes were this big and, like, I couldn't breathe. But anyway, I am much faster for it, for sure.
And fitter.
I am so much fitter.
It was a great adventure.
And I didn't know I could cry that hard. It was the
And it-
adventure of this year.
It
Yes.
got dark, but it was not that
40
dark.
degrees.
It was
Black.
not 40 degrees.
It was, and there was cloud cover and cold rain.
And you're being chased by jackals.
And jackals. No sleep.
What's a jackal?
Jackal? Is it a jackal? Jackal. It's actually
It's kinda like
similar
a
to a
dog, no?
coyote. It's like an
Okay.
African coyote. I looked it up.
Tennessee jackal.
I looked it up because Lakeland watches the Lion Guard, and I
Oh.
was like, man, what is a jackal? I really don't know. Like, I mean, I kind of know what a jackal is, but
I'm pretty sure there are jackals on Pfeiffer Mountain.
there's no jackals on Python. There are
Well,
coyotes. There is no jackals.
I'm not afraid
there
of
are
that. But
no
so
jackals.
now that, thank you for exposing my
You're just afraid
terrified,
of the dark.
of dark, ominous, frigid nights with no lights on bicycles. What are your biggest fears?
Being
you
buried
three?
alive.
Oh.
Buried alive. Yuck.
Being buried alive terrifies me.
That's sketchy.
I don't really like sharks either. I'm not petrified. I'm not like
I don't
I'm not
get
gonna
that.
stay out of the water because of a shark, but I don't want to
Doesn't
meet
bug
one.
me.
I don't like the idea straight up of like being on a boat that's sinking. That really bothers
What if
me.
it's, like,
That,
close to shore?
I'm talking about like I'm talking about like out in the
Cruise ship?
middle,
The
like the
Titanic?
Titanic. It's going down.
I don't know anyone that would be calm in that situation.
That bothers me. Yeah.
For me, So mine's lame compared to your guys. Like, you guys have, like, actual fears of, like, dying. I'm just afraid of being alone.
Oh,
Like, that's just a simple.
That's legit.
That's more deep. I think that's actually
Yeah.
a good one, you know?
I feel like I can deal with most things, but it's like when you have no loved ones in your life, it's like,
Yeah,
ooh,
that's
this is gonna be a
hard.
That's
dark
legit.
period.
Yeah.
that would suck.
I did read somewhere that I'm not, like, creepy
Here we
or
go.
anything.
Here we go.
Let me get a drink.
Elly,
of coffee.
fact of the day. You know, Dan Patrick has fact or stat of the day. We need
But
a
this-
fact of the day from Elly.
This is, like,
Somebody,
appropriate.
let's look it up.
And anytime,
Hold on.
anytime,
Okay.
Fact check.
Fact check.
Fact check.
anytime you say, like, I
Fact
don't
check.
mean to be creepy,
Right.
it's about to
Okay,
be bad.
because I don't
getting
want you to,
creepy.
like, I don't want to be prejudged for why would I know this
It's
fact or listen to
always
this
fact
but
checked, Elly.
Anyway.
Always.
So, you know, you were talking about, like, ships sinking, so I go to
Right.
cruise ship. Do you know,
Right.
in fact, that the easiest place to murder somebody and not get caught is a cruise ship? Because how are they going to find the body? How are they going to find the fingerprints? I mean,
Cameras.
it's like
There's cameras
over.
all over this.
No
Yeah.
way! Not on your balcony in your room
I don't know.
Easiest place to murder someone.
to get away with murder.
Sure, it's
want
gonna be
that-
a bet on
you
my
sure-
phone?
You sure that want that on your
I told
phone?
you I'm not creepy, but I heard it.
You
I
heard
used
it.
to like to watch CSI.
Oh.
I
Your
feel like
city's the easiest place to get away with it.
No, that's the place. Okay, Matt, here's another trivia question while he's searching because I got in trouble for this week too. My facts, whatever. What do you call the person who does, when someone dies and they have to see how they died? What do you call the person that does that? That does the autopsy?
Tell him what you think.
No.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
what do you think the person is called who does the autopsy?
Who actually does the autopsy or
Yeah.
comes to the scene of the crime?
No,
Nope,
not
nope.
the CSI person. The person who does the, like Scully in
The
X-Files.
coroner.
Nah, that's better.
That's closer.
way better than
Yeah,
Elly's.
I want to lean towards like morticianer. That's the
Okay.
person
Okay.
that preps the body, right?
Getting warmer.
Pathologist versus.
Oh.
I don't want to talk about
Tell it. What did
Say
Elly?
it.
That wasn't my question. I wanted to know if he
Nope. She wanted to
No,
be.
I went to-
She wanted to be an autopsyist.
Autopsyist.
Autopsy.
knew. I told my parents this forever.
I feel like that. It's like they know what you mean, but they also know like, oh,
Right.
Right,
That's
no one's
sweet.
ever
Oh,
corrected
bless your
me.
heart.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
No, I always told people, I was like, I watched X-Files with my dad, and I was like, I want to be Scully. When I grow up, I want to be
Wait,
an
hold on.
autopsyist.
Where did you
Autopsyist.
say you got this fact about the easiest place? Did you say
CSI.
CSI?
She
No,
said
no.
CSI.
I said I watched a lot of CSI. So when they did the one on the cruise ship and they threw the lady
There's
over,
actually
and
there was a recent thing where a guy got busted for killing his wife on a cruise ship.
what? No, where? No, there wasn't.
He didn't get away
Well-
with it,
well,
obviously,
he
because
didn't-
we know about it.
He could have just thrown her over it when no trail.
no, but there's cameras
Cameras
everywhere.
on the balcony. He obviously got
no,
caught.
people. You're on vacation. They can put cameras on the
Yeah,
balcony.
no, there's cameras
No.
everywhere.
Yeah, there's cameras everywhere.
Yeah, no, you're wrong.
No, then type in like murder on cruise ship.
I've searched like 5 different ways of putting that, and everyth's like charges
Objection.
announced for Princess
I
Cruises
think-
Alaska ship death. Latest on husband and cruise ship death appears in court. 11 ways to get booted off a cruise ship.
Objection. Fact checker doesn't know what he's doing.
Husband of woman murdered on
What?
cruise ship weeps in court. Like
Okay, well,
FBI,
whatever.
So we don't
woman
know.
killed on cruise ship and fatal domestic
Okay.
dispute during murder mystery. Like
What did you guys want to be when you were kids then? Since I wanted to be
Baseball
well,
my
that's a
whole
cop out.
life.
You didn't know other
Base-
thing.
No, that's what I wanted to
Well,
do
of course I
until
wanted to be an
realized
athlete, but on the side I
baseball's-
wanted to cut open
was-
bodies.
No.
No.
I want to be a football
That's
player,
kind of
period.
weird.
I want
It
to
was
be
for like
retired.
a week.
Retired.
Seriously?
I wanted to be a baseball player, and then I wanted to be a firefighter.
Okay,
So
Yeah.
fair. Whatever.
Yep.
That's great.
I think around the end of high school, I realized like I'm good at math and I can't read. So I was like, and so,
engineer.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. The guidance counselor was like, "Have you ever thought of engineering?" I was like, "No,
No.
but
I will.
I guess I'll do that."
What kind do you have your degree in?
Mechanical engineering.
Wow.
And where did you go to school?
University of Vermont.
University of Vermont. What's the mascot?
Yeah, that's a
University
good
of
question.
Vermont.
Your
Anyone?
football team?
Anyone?
Not really.
Not really.
No, they're big in hockey.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, I think hockey. and
University of
soccer.
Vermont.
That was. I
Let's
have
look it
no
up.
idea.
Hey, we have Google.
Fact check.
Fact check.
That's what he should have been. He
What
should
is
have
it,
been a
Elly?
fact checker. What? What's
You
what?
should be a that should be Dre's official title, fact checker, producer, fact checker. You should from now on you should have a computer set up for anything that Elly says.
I bring lots of great facts. I think.
You could be like the Danettes on the Dan Patrick show. Dre, the Danette.
The fact checker.
Yep.
Hmm.
University of Vermont, Burlington. Acceptance rate is 69.3%.
Wild.
Nickname is the Catamounts.
The Catamount.
What's a
Oh,
catamount?
really?
Yeah,
Catamount.
Color's green and gold.
Yeah, catamount.
Catamount. It's like a bobcat.
Yeah, like the
Oh.
mountain.
I did not know that.
lion.
Yeah, sure
Catamounts.
enough.
Who else
Yep.
is the Catamounts? There's a school in North Carolina that's the Catamounts.
There you go.
So while you're
There you
on
go.
Vermont,
Catamounts.
can you
Little
tell
known
me about
facts.
maple syrup and how it works? Because I didn't really understand what you were saying earlier about sticking things in trees.
We went to Cracker Barrel earlier
Yeah.
and had pecan
well,
pancakes
and the
Oh,
syrup
yeah.
was 100% syrup,
from Vermont.
55% maple syrup,
Lies.
45%.
cane syrup.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't-
trickery.
Cougar.
Trickery.
Catamount is a
Chicanery.
cougar.
Oh, it's
So-
a cougar. Yeah,
Um,
like a.
Yeah, so Vermont is like known for their maple syrup.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of people in Vermont tap and boil themselves, like their lease land or whatever.
Mhm.
But one of my good buddies from home, he would always like hook me up with like
The real.
the fresh, like they're pouring it out of the drum type thing. But yeah, I want to say they had.
How do you tap the tree?
know,
That's
but
what I
it
don't
sounds
understand.
good.
So they literally just walk
Wow.
around. They snowshoe through
Mm.
like 300 acres with like a garbage bag of plastic taps and a drill, and just like
Wow.
they would put in like 90,000 taps a season, and then you have to remove the taps.
90,000?
Yeah,
Jeez.
they'd have to, and then you have to remove the taps at the end of every season so the tree
Wow.
can heal. Then the next year you have to go to.
You
a
can
different
come back
patch.
and re-tap the tree.
Yeah. So
Is there a tapping season?
yeah, was
Is
it?
it like hunting season? Like you have like a
Yeah. So I think
Can you?
the best maple syrup production
Tap out?
is when you have warm days and cold nights.
Ah.
I think when there's that big temperature change, that's like the prime
Fall.
season. Yeah. So like late fall when you're starting to get a frost.
Yeah.
So I think it's early fall they go out and tap, and like they literally just go out and walk all day, just drill, put the tap in, drill, put
Wow.
the tap, and then you have to hook up all the hoses. So it's a bunch
Wow.
of little hoses that lead to bigger, and then finally the main tube that goes down to the sugaring house, and then they fire it up, and it's a bunch of
crazy.
filters and boilers and.
Have
all
you
that
brought
stuff.
Rich any syrup? Did you know that's like one of his favorite things?
I didn't know that.
I do love maple syrup.
He's a
Oh,
syrup guy.
I brought a very limited supply.
That's what James,
Good stuff.
that's what James Hobart's mom used to bring at Thanksgiving, actually.
With
Yeah.
syrup.
Western Carolina is also the Catamounts.
Oh.
Sorry.
That's right. Western
Backtrack on
Carolina.
the question.
That's right.
That's another
Don't want to
fact.
leave anybody hanging.
They have a good women's soccer team. That's all I know. I'm done.
Of what?
My
Western
daughter
Carolina.
went there to a camp. That's how I know that.
Oh, okay.
I was like, that's
How did we?
very
Yeah.
strange.
Catamounts.
How did we get from
Catamounts.
there
Vermont.
syrup to?
Vermont syrup. Vermont. What's the
Well, UVM
mascot?
is the Catamounts.
Catamounts. I've never heard Catamounts
Bring Rich
before.
syrup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's like the same thing. So my family is in the citrus business. You
The
can
Space Coast.
No,
Here we go.
I'm talking about the citrus.
Oh,
That for
okay.
orange juice, for
Sorry.
oranges, for citrus to be good, you have to have at least one hard freeze for it to be like. Not, I don't want to say hard freeze. but
Aren't
it's
all
gotta get cold
oranges
to be
dying though?
sweet. Citrus greening, it's a real thing. Donate now
All-
to save the oranges.
All
Seriously,
oranges
if you,
will soon be GMO.
in the United
all
States,
of them.
that's
And
not
did you know
true.
if
I'm
did
sorry.
you know that since catfish, most of the catfish you eat, and it's farmed, and since they're fed GMOs, they're actually not fish.
That's not true. They're still fish.
that's what he thinks.
No, bull. No. So I don't even remember where we're at. We're talking about catfish, and she's like, but
I said tilapia.
anyway, tilapia.
Tilapia.
No, now there's different types of GMO. It's genetically modified.
I know, but
So
she
it's like-
thinks that anything that's GMO
No,
it
just-
doesn't have a soul.
Yeah,
No, there's one TED Talk that I. Argues
I watched the whole Discovery Channel thing on this.
No.
And it's
What'd
like
you
there's-
learn? Please educate us.
That there's some GMOs that are like the type that you think they are, like they're chemically
Chemicals.
changed.
Like
But
corn.
then there's others that are like they're just taking the
Yeah.
good.
The
Like
good
this was
stuff.
a good seed.
This is a good one.
seed.
Let's make it an even better seed.
Yeah.
and
but
suddenly
now-
you're a scientist.
But now technically it's genetically modified because it didn't happen naturally. But it's like it's still.
Do you want to go to your next
Good.
thing that you're so passionate about?
What?
So it was oranges. Now
Oranges.
what?
Oranges.
Oh, the citrus greening.
Nope.
What?
Nope. What's the thing
Wait, what's
that we were
citrus
talking
green?
about with Tasia last week when she was here at lunch? Ah, crap. Literally, it's crap. Yes.
Oh, fecal transplants.
Fecal transplants. There it is.
You heard about this?
Why are we talking about
Because this is true. This is like,
Here we go.
there's a book by this doctor, and he swears, like, you got to see a picture of the guy. You'd be able to
Fact check.
Okay, the book.
Pull
called,
it up, Dre.
It's called The Plant Paradox. I haven't read it yet, so I can't really endorse it. But I listened to a podcast with him.
I knew a guy I know.
Who was in the FBI.
No.
What is it called?
And was leaning
The
on a
Plant
wall.
Paradox, and it'll tell you the doctor's name. Okay, here's what happened. So, this
the Plant
guy.
Paradox diet. There's a diet.
I know, okay, because you're not supposed to have lectins.
Hidden dangers in healthy
Anyway,
foods.
so what happened was this marathon or distance runner got some strange disease. I don't know the exact I'll butcher the story, but she had something wrong with her that.
Hey, at least you admitted you're gonna butcher the story.
Thank you.
We're getting somewhere. This is progress. Sorry, go ahead.
Anyway, she had something going on in her colon or whatever, and the doctor said, the only way to fix this is you're going to have a fecal transplant to get the right bacteria in your body. The doctor says we are basically bacteria condominiums. So this girl.
That's all you are, Jim.
Yep, you're a bacteria condominium. But when you hear the story, you're going to be awestruck. So
uncomfortable with this conversation.
I know, but you're going to really appreciate it. I swear.
Is this basically like probiotics to the next level?
So the bacteria.
We don't really know how you do a fecal transplant. That's all I want to know.
And surely,
and can you sell your poop?
Okay, but you have to hear what happened.
Well,
because
who's
we're gonna start bottling Rich's poop for fecal transplants.
Oh wow!
$1 million.
No, we're not.
Anyway, so here's what happened. This distance runner, whatever, she had this issue. This doctor said, I'm going to give you this transplant. So she had to go to a family member to get the right bacteria, whatever. I don't know why. So she does the transplant. She changes nothing in her diet, and she's an elite distance marathoner. She gains 30 pounds. The family member she got the fecal transplant from was obese. So the bacteria she got from this person, so over time, it's basically saying you're never supposed to eat nuts. Or seeds.
Dr. Stephen
because
Gundy.
They have lectins in them that accumulate in your stomach and cause disease and don't allow you to digest things the right way. Yada, yada, yada. Anyway, it's true. It's proven. So.
I'm not buying it.
Okay, well, you're going to have.
I think she just got lazy.
I don't know.
Anyway, I would never probably agree to fecal transplant.
That's what I was just getting to say.
Paradox.
I'm not sure.
Are lectins really that harmful, or is Dr. Stephen Gundry, sorry, I said Gundy earlier, it's Gundry, wrong? There you go.
Well, so we're just, we'll let you know later. Sorry,
if you're
that was
on
a long story.
death's doorstep and that's what it takes, I might consider it, but
nah.
The guy looks 20 years younger than his age.
Sounds dramatic.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What, this guy does?
Yeah.
Gundry?
Yeah, because his lectins are all perfect because he has the right whatever.
So he's just not
or had a
eating
great
seeds?
fecal transplant. Yes.
Yeah.
So you just don't eat seeds.
Is that the same thing as Ron
Seeds and
Ortiz?
nuts.
I mean, the man looks.
Yeah, dude.
The
Yeah,
man looks
that's
28,
that
29.
could be genetic.
It's jacked.
Hey, Ron. Shout out to Ron, looking young.
Old Papa Ortiz.
I mean, is that considered a hidden talent? You have good poop. Anyway, do you guys have a hidden talent?
Man.
Do you have a hidden talent, Matt?
Man.
I sleep with my eyes open. It's not really a talent.
Just
An interesting fact.
Yeah, it's kind
more
of
like a
this.
party trick. Really?
Yeah, I do.
I haven't heard you say
I don't really know. I've never seen myself sleep, but that's what everybody
If
tells
someone
me.
hasn't taken a picture,
Not that I know of. Not that I've seen.
Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
or a hobby. What do you enjoy other than CrossFit?
Guns.
Guns, coffee, motorcycles.
Coffee.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love me good espresso.
Do you make your own?
Yeah. Yeah, I have a whole little espresso bar set up at home.
How do you make espresso?
I mean, just grinding the beans, weighing it out, dosing it.
But
and
isn't
then,
there something? What's the difference between? We've looked this up. I think
You've made wrong facts. You've made up Elly facts about this actually before. That's what you're saying. Oh yeah, the international sign for choking. In case you didn't know, this is Elly's international sign for choking. She said at lunch today. She goes, "Does everybody know the international sign for choking?" And we're all like, everybody at the table does this.
Go
and she goes, "Oh, I thought it was this."
My brother told me that growing up. It's not my fault. Anyway, will you please tell me how? Because there's something different. Why is espresso different than coffee?
Just more
I think
concentrated.
I
right?
think it's just
Isn't
more.
one oil though? I thought one was
concentrated.
Oh yeah, I don't.
I'm sure
I'm not the
I'm
Sorry.
sure it
coffee.
Have to look
extracts
it up
something.
We'll have to have
Well,
Bridges.
tell us
Sure.
about the espresso bar. That's interesting.
Oh, it's just like grinder, scale, espresso machine, dump pot. Like just like you go
Wow.
down the line. But
That's awesome.
yeah, so you just dose it out when you grind it, and then And then
International
you
sign
weigh
for
it.
choking.
There it
go.
is.
And you just like weigh it when you're pulling
Yeah.
it, but like you have to like time it and all that stuff. So it's like,
So
Do you dance after that? After you take a shot of espresso? Like, does that jazz you up?
I mean, it puts a smile on my face. every
International
morning.
sign for choking,
There it is.
everybody. In case you're choking ever, don't do this.
He found Poets. He's been getting his
Oh, yeah.
shout out to Poets here in Cookeville,
Yeah.
Tennessee. We all three
Yeah,
go
well,
there.
when
They
we
have
were-
great
when we were
espresso.
Down here house hunting. Yeah, we hit that up.
I'm
Like,
trying to get Rich to
twice a
come
day.
to
No,
Poets in
every
the
day.
morning.
Did
and-
you?
Nope. I've
But-
lived here for 26 years, and I've been to Poets one time. That was enough.
Yeah.
He stays home.
I don't
Yeah.
drink coffee. And a coffee shop's not really my place to hang out.
Everybody
Oh,
knows
I've,
your
I've
name
never
there.
hung out.
Like Cheers? Like Cheers?
I've never
everybody
hung
knows your
out.
name?
Right.
Hung
That's where I got
out
that
in a
from.
coffee shop. I go in, get it, and then immediately leave, and then take a sip, and then either smile or talk a lot of shit as soon as I leave. I'm like,
I-
this is over extracted. Get out of here.
You should pin Rich down. We should give him 3 shots of espresso and see if he dances or smiles or laughs.
No, like espresso is definitely like an acquired taste. Like it's.
He
it's
says he
de-
doesn't drink coffee. He doesn't know what he's missing. And if you have that much, like,
I've sipped some coffee before. I don't like the
that's
taste.
not enough to, like,
Yeah,
you know.
I feel like even regular coffee is definitely an acquired taste. Like I remember before I started drinking it, like I started drinking it out of necessity for like waking up early in college or whatever it was or high school, and like, okay, this will help wake me up.
Right.
But then it became an acquired taste, and then espresso is that all over again. You
I
know?
don't see the need to acquire a taste for anything. If you don't like it, you walk away.
That's
Yeah, but-
that's coming from a
but-
dude.
but
I
now-
drink
but now I
chocolate
love
chai
it.
tea, so it tastes really good with espresso. So it tastes great, and you get jacked. You're just ready for the day.
I think you just
Chocolate
really
chai
confused
tea.
Rich.
Like
I've never
every-
seen him make that face.
I don't even know what that means.
I'm telling
I don't
you,
even know
you
you
got to
anymore.
come down to Poets. I will
Nah.
hook you up.
Nah, bruh.
Every morning
On me.
every morning I start with a quad shot,
A quad shot?
just straight.
Oh, wow. You're
That's a
ready to
lot,
work out
man.
after
Oh yeah,
that.
it's a full
Jeez.
mug.
Oh, my
And then-
gosh.
then
I don't
it's a
know
lot.
what. I have no idea what we're
I
talking
get one
about.
shot
I'm
in my
left out
tea.
in the dark
Yeah,
here.
yeah, I do a quad shot, and then usually right
That's a
after my
lot.
workout,
I
like
do a septic
at
shot.
one or 2 in the afternoon, I'll usually do another double or quad.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you say nothing with an
shots.
acquired taste. You're talking to all the males in America who drink beer. No one ever sipped on a beer and was like, man, this is the best thing I've ever put down the hatch.
Well, unless it's Fat Tire from New Belgium. It's pretty dang good.
Like a blue moon every once in a while.
Yeah.
But it's an acquired taste.
No,
No,
tastes
I-
good.
I don't
First time I
believe
ever
it.
had one of those. I loved it.
Who likes the bitter taste
Peanut
of
butter
hops?
porter.
I don't know.
That's
dude.
not your thing.
I quit drinking when I was young, so I didn't get to experience like all like the fine beers, you know.
I started drinking when I got old. I never drank when I was young.
So it's just, you know, that's fine.
Yeah.
Still an acquired taste. I'm just negating his argument, that's all. It's fine.
Whose argument?
Wow.
You said you don't understand people drinking something that's an acquired taste, referring to coffee.
I don't feel like that's an argument. That's just
This is
No, but
my
that's
opinion.
beer.
yeah.
My opinion. It wasn't a argument.
I'm
it
just
wasn't
trying to
I
invalidate your
disagree with your
opinion.
I
opinion.
disagree with your opinion.
It offends me.
Get in line.
Dude, anytime Dan Bailey puts up a post, most times, more often than not, I just post, that offends me.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he put up one post recently, and I, like, first comment, this offends me.
Everybody.
Most people get the joke.
Yeah.
I got a direct message
Oh, jeez.
from someone that was like,
You're gonna die
that was like,
after you go to hell first.
they were basically like, you little, I'll give you something that offends you, and I was like,
Gosh.
easy.
Easy.
Yeah,
It's fine.
it was on a gun post too,
Oh gosh.
and he was like, basically calling me a bitch
Yeah.
for not liking guns. I was like, have you ever followed
Do you know
my
him?
page?
You don't know him.
Fact check yourself first, you
I
know?
don't know him.
Oh my gosh. That's absurd.
Fact check, Elly. Fact check.
I fact checked you.
Would you fact check?
I don't know. What?
Elly, what are you reading?
Right now?
Yep.
Well, I'm trying to start reading one of those killing books that you were talking about.
Whoa,
because
whoa. You gotta like preface
Yeah,
what's going
like-
on here.
Finish the title. One of those
top
killing
tier
books.
killing books. Rich keeps coming in, and I don't have a strong background in history, though I strive to be historically accurate. He is like, you can ask him any trivia about history, and he
Not
knows
any trivia.
He knows a lot. You know way more than most.
I like
It's
I like
impressive.
American history. I
So-
enjoy American history.
he came in the other day, and you were
So
talking about killing
I've
Kennedy.
read Killing England. I just finished Killing Patton. I read Killing Kennedy, Killing Reagan, and I'm now killing the Rising Sun. No, I'm reading Killing Rising Sun, and it's about just the World War II in the Pacific. And so they're all just historical-based books on those figures dying or the country dying. So they've been pretty good so far. I enjoy them. I like the history side of it. The next one I've read Killing Jesus. I read Killing Jesus like a year or two ago, and then I liked it too because it was just more all the facts. Like there's no, he's not trying to sway you one way or the other. It's just giving you the facts about what's going on and what happened. So I enjoyed that. So this year I was like, I'll try. What was the first one I tried this year? Killing England, just because I like the Revolutionary War type stuff, and so that's where we're at. So I got Killing the Rising Sun and then Killing Lincoln left.
What were you came in
Knowledge.
the other day and you were telling us all these facts. Was it from Killing Kennedy or
It
something?
was from Kennedy because all the files were supposed to be released. I didn't
Oh.
even know that until I actually finished the Killing Kennedy book.
What were some of those facts? They were interesting.
Well, in there he just talks about one of the craziest things. There's all the conspiracy theories, and they don't really get into the conspiracy theories because there's conspiracy theories around Kennedy and also Patton. But they say that the first shot that hit Kennedy went through the back of his shoulder and through his throat. And so he had a really bad back, so he was wearing kind of like a heavy back brace. And so if you watch, he falls forward, and the back brace kept him up. If he would have actually
Jeez.
collapsed, he would have been shot through the head, allegedly.
Wow.
And then that second shot is what, killed him eventually. And then I was watching a show, actually, where they were talking about the grassy knoll shot, but the grassy knoll shot would have killed Jackie Kennedy. So it's just kind of, I can see there's probably some weird stuff in there because Oswald lived in Russia for a while, and then he also tried to defect to Cuba. So he was in Mexico City like, a week or two before he killed Kennedy. And so what's kind of cool is in the books, they kind of, all the figures, whoever they're following, in that one they do Kennedy and Oswald. And so he kind of gives you a timeline of what's going on for both guys at the same time, which is kind of cool. And then in England, since it's kind of a, a broader subject, they give you George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, and then a little bit of King George, and kind of just tell you what was going on with them. So it's kind of cool.
See, he's a vat of knowledge.
Boom. That was good.
See, like
I don't know anything about that whole Kennedy thing. I really don't.
I didn't
so I was
know
confused
much
'cause
at
of
all.
videos,
Yeah, exactly.
movies.
So I'm like, but now I'm like, now I watch it, and I'm like, I want to see, because now that I've read.
See, like my only like experience with history class is like 8th grade social studies,
Right.
and it's basically like a worksheet of just memorizing facts.
Oh,
like
yeah.
there's no rhyme or reason.
No,
for
Yeah.
it. I feel like if I read something like that, of like the storyline, why they were doing the things they
That's
were.
why I like
It'd be
these.
more
The books are
captivating.
pretty good because it tells a story. It's not
Yeah.
just like, hey, this is what happened then. This is what happened. Like,
Mhm.
kind of
Yeah.
gives you their personality, so you kind of like see what they, had going on,
Yeah.
and it was good.
I think it gives you an appreciation for our country's history or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever book you're reading, because again, it's telling the story and helping you appreciate,
What they went through.
Who
Yeah.
wrote those books?
Bill O'Reilly
O'Reilly.
and Martin Duggard, I think is the guy's name. They're both pretty good. Or both. There's 7 of them.
Jeez.
I just finished Patton. Patton was a pretty hard dude. He was cool.
Mhm.
He was real cool.
It's awesome.
The speech that he gives to the Third Army is pretty cool. I think it's in the movie Patton. I've never seen the movie Patton, but the speech is pretty intense.
I'll have to watch that.
So yeah, he's pretty cool. It's a good book.
Matt, what are you most excited about since moving to Cookeville? Like, what about Cookeville has you excited?
There's a lot of things that, like, I don't think there's any one big thing that like I'm like jumping for joy about.
Yeah.
But no, there's a lot of smaller perks that I'm really like training today was the perfect, like, I don't have a big to-do list. So
Mhm.
it's like coming into the gym and having a mix of like hanging out and training.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's every CrossFitter's dream, you
Yeah.
know, of like
Perfect
What-
breakfast at Cracker Barrel.
Exactly.
Jeez,
It was
You know,
lunch.
like
Sorry,
the,
lunch.
the 2 weeks until now, it's like I have to get in, train, get home to
Mhm.
like just get stuff organized, get unpacked, do
Yeah.
that whole thing. So it's finally like fallen into routine, and I'm excited for that routine of.
Yeah.
And before, it's like when I go to the track, I'm at the track by myself. When I go to the
Mhm.
pool, I'm at the pool by myself. And when I'm in the gym, I'll overlap every once in a while with other people. But it's like everyone else is on that same schedule of like
Jeez.
swimming, running,
Yeah.
training. Like all that stuff. Definitely loving like the house that we got.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's more space than we know what to do with. So that's.
So you get to decorate and get some things. Is there anything you need for your house? Here you have a housewarming coming up, so we're just anything you need.
Yeah, if you want to bring a couch, that'd be great.
That's a bigger item.
We can find one. There's dumpsters around here.
Figure that out.
Yeah, you know, like the space we came from was so tight that it was like you don't realize that like you're just cramped out of necessity. So it's either like you learn to adapt or you're gonna go crazy. But now it's like our master bedroom is huge.
You're like, whoa.
And we only have a bed.
But
like there's like a whole walk-in closet that we have like our dressers and all that stuff, and then a master bath. But literally the bedroom is just a bed.
Wow.
And like we talked about it the other night, we're like,
So much room for activity.
we need to put something in here. Like this is awkward how much space there is. And we're both just like, I got nothing. Like I don't know what to do.
Jeez.
So it's just.
Sammy's gonna come home. You're gonna have like a barbell in there, like a reverse hyper. What's this doing in here? Well, we needed something.
Yeah, definitely loving
Put your clothes on it.
Definitely loving the new home gym. So I'm actually able to go overhead now.
That's
and
cool.
like do pull-ups.
That's a huge thing in a garage. Like
Did you
people like
look into getting a roll-up door? We talked about that.
No, so
Is
like
it good?
clean and jerk. I still have clearance
there you go. Nice.
on the lowest point. So I was like,
that's fantastic.
that worked out.
Good to go.
Yeah.
Cool. Episode 5. What am I supposed to ask? Dre? Producer Dre?
Questions?
Did I ask that? If I didn't ask in the beginning. If you want us topics, questions you want answered.
Definitely want you to leave a comment on iTunes, though, because that helps the
leave a comment, reviews.
review.
Matt, sponsors, thank them. What do you got? Who you want to thank? I should have told you that.
Thank my sponsors?
Yeah, go for it. Everybody. That's what we do.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Nike, Rogue, Redline, Killcliff, and NF Sports. They kind of help me day to day. Love it.
Get to move to Cookeville.
Yeah.
Elly, what do you got?
Just, Bear Complex, rawr. Reebok always takes care of all of us, too. Whoop.
Whoop.
Whooping it up right here.
Jim's
Thanks to
whooping it up.
Yeah.
Reebok, Rogue, Real Tree, Bear Complex, Reband.
Do you guys have to do that when you say
No, we
the
just
names?
it's kind
just
of
more
the joke.
fun.
Sarge started that. Was it Sarge that started
Yeah.
that?
Bear Complex.
Advocare.
This is always the awkward moment where you hope you don't forget anything.
Yeah, but dang it. I need to write them down. I think that's all I got. CrossFit Mayhem. Oh, we got new shirts. CrossFitMayhem.com. Designed by Dre. A lot of them. For the new 4 of them, at least, are your favorite college football teams. One of them is mine in there. Buy that one. It's green. With blue and gold. Cool. Anything else? Did I leave anything out?
I think we're good.
Cool. All right. That's a wrap. Episode 5.